Welcome to the Team Nourished Team Call. It is June 4th, which is just mind-blowing to me that it is already June. I cannot believe that we are halfway through the year almost. I mean, in some ways it seems like it's crawled, and in other ways it seems like it just is flying at the speed of like, you can't keep up and you're just holding on and you're like, ah! So welcome. I'm so glad and grateful that you guys are spending your evening here or your afternoon here with our team. We are going to have so much to cover tonight. So I'm going to kind of blow through some recognition and some housekeeping. And then we're going to learn about the Enneagram, which is really exciting and something that I am passionately fascinated by. I think that would be the way I would describe what I am. I'm not necessarily super passionate, but I am passionately fascinated by it. So, okay, let me screen share our PowerPoint. All right, can you see, Paige, you're at the top there. Can you see it? Okay, I'm going to play it from the start. Two thumbs? Two thumbs. Yay. Okay. Uh-oh. Hold on. There's people waiting to get in. Amanda Collison is joining us. Yay. Okay. It's so hard for me to see who's trying to join. I wish there was a way to, hold on, I need to mute all so that when they come in, everyone is muted. Okay. Yay. Amanda's driving home or driving somewhere. So, all right. Welcome to the Team Nourished Team Call. Tonight, like I said, is June the 4th. So quick little new coach must knows. We go over this every single time. I understand that it probably gets old for those of you who aren't new coaches, but maybe even if you aren't a new coach, this will remind you of things that you need to be incorporating into your life in order to make this a business or to make this more than just your own personal journey. Although I will say this also has a whole lot to do with your personal journey. So our core mission with Team Nourish is to help people achieve their goals and enjoy a healthy, fulfilling life. That is what we do. First things first, you always need to start your Beachbody Challenge. If you have not started that already, please make sure that you get on board with starting that as soon as possible. Download yourself a calendar, get yourself a meal plan, log into your accountability group, but get started. Get results like a boss. It is your job to get results. It is your job to show up in your accountability group. And I say it's your job, meaning you can make an income. So like it's your actual job, not just like it's your job. Let's do this. Practice the vital behaviors. Beachbody has outlined that there are 4 vital behaviors that kind of make a healthy working coach. Vital number 1 is be proof the products work every day. That doesn't say you have to be perfect, but it does mean that you need to be working toward a result. So if you currently don't have a result in mind, you need to reach out quickly and we need to get you an idea of what result you're looking to achieve so that you can be proof the products work. Vital number 2 is in connecting, inviting, and following up. That is how you build a business. You can do all the programs you want, but if you don't connect, if you don't invite, and you don't follow up, you will not have a business. End of story. Vital number 3 is to help people get results. So once they come into our communities, it is your job to hold them accountable. It's your job to show up as their accountability buddy, as their leader. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have any kind of credentials, but you do need to be their buddy in this. Don't link drop. That's pretty much what that means in my opinion. Don't just say, oh, here you go, because that's product sales and we are a service. So vital number 4 is personal development. That's part of what we're doing here tonight. This is, oh yay, Carolyn. She's new to coaching, you guys. So make sure we welcome her adequately too. Personal development. Personal development is huge. That's part of what we're going to be talking about tonight. This call, you can count this as your personal development if you want to. So you can check that off your little 4 vital behaviors list. Number 3 is, well, this isn't the vitals, but number 3 thing of the coach must knows is hit SC6, help your first 3 challengers or coaches as soon as possible. The sooner you start doing this, the sooner you start getting income results, business growth results, team results. The longer you drag that out, the longer it's going to take. So we're going to talk about how to incorporate the Enneagram into business tonight. So hopefully that will help you enroll your first 3 challengers and coaches. If you have any kind of confusion about that, go to the announcement section of our group. And in the announcement section, there's like a whole long little thing. It's just text. But I go through and I piecemeal exactly how I have built my business, exactly how I use the words. Some people call them scripts. I don't really like calling them that because I feel like that means you have to use those words. But guys, You can use those words. So copy and paste and use those words. Advanced to Emerald, we're going to talk about SE and Emerald in just a minute, and earn your ticket to Summit for 2021, not 2020, sad face. And last but not least, sign in or log on to our Coach Good Vibe Tribe training website, do the coach trainings, and set up your Getting Started Right call if we have not already had one. Feel free to screenshot this team training website for goodvibetribecoaches.com. You do not create a login. You just use the master login. So the login is goodvibetribecoach@gmail.com, and the password is goodvibes only, all lowercase, all one word. You can also screenshot that. So. Really quick, we talked about advancing your business to Emerald. This is huge. This is the beginning of your business. You really don't have a business until you are Emerald. And I say that because once you are Emerald, Beachbody opens you up a bank account. It is for points, and you are going to grow that bank account whether you are always working your business or sometimes working your business. If you maintain active Emerald status, you never lose those points that are just rolling and rolling and rolling. And guys, you're about to see in these recognition slides that our team has had massive growth in the last couple of months. And if you are not Emerald, you are not taking advantage of that. You're not getting any benefit of being, like, financial benefit of being on this team. So please do yourself a favor and get your behind to active Emerald as soon as humanly possible. Emerald does not have to mean, oh my God, I posted on social media and now I have these friends. It can mean your mom and your sister. It can mean your cousin and your brother. It can mean your neighbor and your hairdresser. It really doesn't matter, but that's kind of the baseline of where you begin. Everything else goes up from there. So we have Ruby, and then we have Diamond. Diamond is where things really start taking off income-wise. It's where you really get to lean into the team trainings, into the leadership calls, into lots and lots of amazing things. You also get paid more as a Diamond, so get yourself there. Really quick about Success Club, and you're going to see, I'll explain it in the next recognition slide as well, but why advance to Emerald and get to SC10 instead of SC5? SC10 means you get paid leads. So when Susie signs up for Shakeology in the middle of the night and she doesn't have a coach, you're put into a pool and it just revolves over and over and over. So if you hit SC10, which is helping 5 people, and you are an Emerald, you get paid leads the next month. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, we can break it down later. Weekly top 5. So, oh my gosh, congratulations, you guys. I'm so pumped about our weekly top 5. Congratulations to Nikki Welsh, who is a new coach on Renee Koth's team, excuse me. And I just found out today she owns her own boutique, and I thought that was really, really cool. So congratulations, Nikki. Myself and my second CBC is up here as well. Carrie Summers is up here. Megan Pickup, number 4, and Michelle King. Congratulations. This is Michelle King's first time in being in the weekly top 5. So I'm super, and Nikki's as well. And way to take like number 1 spot, Nikki. But congratulations, you guys. I'm so proud of you all. Weekly top 5 is a math equation that my virtual assistant put together. And it means that you have volume, you have coach recruitments, and you have Success Club points. So each one of those things gets a numerical number. They get added into a thing, I don't know, an equation, I'm really bad at math, and spits out the top 5. So super, super proud of you guys. I love seeing your beautiful faces up there, and I really like it when new coaches take spots. Like, it makes me really happy. Okay, we are going to have a quick little May recap since it's so early in June right now. I really, really want to take just a minute to highlight our phenomenal May. Guys, we had the most incredible month last month. I can't get over how amazing it was. So quickly, let me read off that. We had myself at SC22. That means I helped 11 people. Carrie Summers at SC16. Paige Yorgi at SC16. Haley Zarita, who's a brand new coach at SC10. Renee Koth at SC8. Nikki Welch at SC8. Welsh. Megan Pickup at SC8, Amanda Harold at SC6, Layla Bryant at SC6, and Andrea Tucker at SC6. Guys, SC10 and SC5 are huge. Get yourself on this side of the board. This side of the board means paid leads. This side of the board means free leads. Anyone who is SC6 and SC6 to SC10, so this little block right here, you guys, if you are an Emerald coach, you receive paid leads, or I'm sorry, free leads in June. SC10 and above, everybody on this side of the board, you're receiving paid and you are Emerald. You are going to be receiving paid leads for the month of June. So a little bump in your income. Very nice, very helpful. It's Beachbody's way of saying thank you for building your business. On the board for the month of May, so these are the people that helped 2 and 1 person. That is phenomenal. Every single life counts, you guys. Kendall Phones, SC4, Amanda Collison, SC2, Ashley Burney at SC2, Leanna Morris at SC2, and Sharon Wells at SC2. I love seeing your guys' name on the board. And then to hop on over to June Success Club, you can tell who made this slide versus who made the other slide. My assistant made the other one, so it's super pretty and very nice. I made this one and it looks like I made it in PowerPoint because it did. So June Success Club recognition on the board already this month, guys. It's only the 4th, so don't get your panties in a bunch. It's only the 4th. But we have to celebrate the people who are already helping people. So Nikki Welsh already up at SC4, 1 more person, and she has hit her Self-Success Club. Amanda Collison at SC2. Congratulations, girl. Michelle King, SC2. This is her first month ever having Success Club points. I'm very proud of her. Leanna Morris at SC2 already, and Renee Koth at SC2. So way to go. Help all the peoples, all of them. Okay. Couple little housekeeping things. Our Summer Strong sale was extended through the month of June. So yay, 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 hooray. Very excited for that. So be sure if you had people who were sitting on the fence on May, you reach back out to them and say, hey, I know you didn't get a chance to enroll in May. Just so you know, the $20 off is still going on. So please take advantage of that because I can't imagine that it will continue this way. I really thought it would not continue at the end of May. So Beachbody is all full of surprises. Oh, hold on one. Renee's hopping on. Okay. One-to-one mentorship and mindset call opportunities. If you are an Emerald, you did receive a message from me, a personally sponsored Emerald. You did receive a message from me to schedule your 2 mentorship and mindset call opportunities per month. Please take advantage of those. I really want to help mentor you and help you grow your mindset and get over obstacles and blocks. And so in an effort to do that, I'm opening up these one-on-one spots. Anyone who is active diamond receives 4, so 1 a week. So please make sure you schedule those as well. Team-wide Women in Wellness Workshop was rescheduled. Uh-oh, am I frozen? It says I'm unstable. Hopefully I'm not unstable. Team-wide Women in Wellness Workshop was rescheduled. It was supposed to take place today and tomorrow. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough people to start it, so we are going to push it back to Monday and Tuesday. And already today, I've had a couple of people asking to join, so I know that we are going to be starting it Monday. Oh, this says Friday, June 5th. I'm sorry, you guys. These dates are all wrong. This is all me. It'll be Monday and Tuesday, so put your hand over the bottom of this thing. These are wrong. Monday and Tuesday next week. So whatever. That's the 8th and 9th. So we'll skip this one. Okay. 2 other things. Jumpstart your fitness with a powerful sampler pack of some of the best-selling nutritional products, including Beach Bar, Energize, Recover, and more. So the Weekender kits, they are these cute little plastic bags that you can just throw in your purse, throw in your backpack, throw in your beach bag, and just have them for on the go. Guys, these are perfect for people who want to try the products but don't want to invest. Get them one of the Weekender kits. They launch on June 8th, which is Monday. Learn more at FAQ 7621. NAACP. So on behalf of Beachbody, I copied this directly from Carl, so this is all just straight out of the thing. But I am very, very proud that the partner company that we work with has decided to step up and donate for the NAACP. They have donated $1 million to further their stated objectives and vision. Beachbody is always committed to acknowledging and being part of reconciling the problem of racial inequality and race-based injustice in the world. With that said, I am going to, hold on, back it up. Back it up. I'm going to stop share and talk for just a minute because I think we would be remiss if we acted like what's going on in the world wasn't going on in the world. So I kind of made myself some notes. That's why I was like, you don't have to read them because I assume you all know how to read, but I think it's more powerful when you know that it's coming from my heart. So I've gotten a lot of questions in the last couple of weeks about how do I proceed? Or last couple of days, I should say. How do I proceed with my business? Things are absolutely in utter chaos right now, and trying to figure out, as someone who's trying to build a business, who uses social media, what's right, what's not right, what can I say, what can I not say, how should I stand up, how should I not stand up? And I feel like this needs to be addressed head on, because I'm not going to be quiet about it, and I'm not a quiet person. So there we go. First off, this has to be said, so I'm glad it's on recording, but like, please know that Team Nourish and Team Beachbody has always been and will always be a completely inclusive community in business. This has not ever changed. It's not like this is a new thing for us, and it will not ever change. So we will not be changing this to include or uninclude anybody. We create safe spaces for everyone, no matter their race, no matter their gender, no matter their sexual preference, no matter anything. We are a safe space. We always have been, and we always will continue to be. Secondly, how you want to proceed during this time is completely up to you. Do not feel socially bullied into posting anything that is not from your heart. I want to scream that at people. Do not feel socially bullied to post anything that is not from your heart. If you do not know where your heart is, I would encourage you to get very quiet. Turn off all the social media, turn off all the news, turn off all the things, and get very quiet, because internally you know where you are. You know where you sit. So it's really hard to focus on that when everything is coming at you. I was on a mindset call with Brooke, my mindset coach, yesterday, and we were talking about, and I connect a lot of things to Harry Potter. For whatever reason, I just think Harry Potter has excellent visuals. But there's a part in the very beginning of Harry Potter when they have been holding back all of these letters from Hogwarts inviting Harry to come be a part of Hogwarts. And all of a sudden, the holding back cannot be held back anymore. And you can see the visual that I'm talking about. I mean, the letters are flooding in from every crack and every crevice. When social media seems very, very, very loud, that's what it feels like. It feels like it cannot be contained. And we talked about it feeling like a wildfire. And wildfires are destructive. Controlled burns are helpful. Anger, helpful. Wildfire anger, not helpful. So if you don't know how to feel right now, know that that's okay. Know that it's okay to not know how to feel right now. It's okay to not feel comfortable. It's not okay for you to feel bullied into posting or not posting or doing anything that you don't feel in your heart. Lastly, I kind of wanted to share where I am in all of this, because I think that maybe that's helpful. I'm not sharing this because I think I'm telling you what to do with your own business. I'm sharing this so that I can share how I'm handling this. Do it, don't do it. I want you to know that this is a way of handling this. Maybe it's wrong, I don't know, but it's what has given me peace. And in my life, peace and not living in fear are the two primary objectives. So this has been bringing me peace, and this has gotten me out of a state of fear and into a state of abundance. And that is what I wish for every single person on this planet. So first things first, I would encourage you to shut off social media first thing in the morning. There's a handy little feature on your phone called the airplane mode. Put your phone in airplane mode. Spend time in quiet, whether that's meditation, whether that's reading, whether that's prayer, whatever that is for you. For me, that's scripture and prayer. That is what it has been, and that is what it will always be. It is meditation, scripture, prayer, and quiet. Turn off the phone. Block out the messages. They'll still be there. Don't worry. You're not missing anything. I think so many people are worried about missing something if they turn it off. You aren't missing anything. Get quiet and just breathe a little bit, because the rest of your life is going to be there, right? So what I've been sharing in my stories is still my daily behaviors. That's not going to stop. That does not, I don't know. It does not change the emphasis that's happening in the country. It does not mean that I'm ignoring anything. It's me, because my business is about promoting health and wellness. It is me promoting health and wellness and mental health in all of this. So know that that's what I'm doing. I will still post my daily behaviors, and I will still post from the heart. I will share, and I have been sharing my thoughts and revelations and just everything that is coming up for me. I am sharing that on social media. If you don't feel comfortable sharing that yet, that's okay. You will find your voice in all of this. I was very swirly I guess would be the right way to say, like, you feel like you're just like, that everything is in chaos. I felt very much that way Monday and Tuesday, and yesterday I did this exact thing that I'm sharing with you now, and I felt a complete and utter peace, and I felt like I had my voice back. And not to say that my voice outshines other voices, but all voices here are important. And so you get to use your voice with your social media platform how you want to. And this is how I want to promote equality and promote everything that is going on. This is how I want to do that. And then I would encourage you to not scroll. If scrolling is a trigger for you, if scrolling leads to you being angry and disconnected from the world and feeling like you have to hide away in a closet under a rock, quit scrolling. Quit it. Just stop it. You don't have to do it. You aren't missing out on some vital piece of information that's just going to radically change everything. I promise it is there. It will be there. We lived how many ever hundreds of thousands of whatever years before social media. It will be okay. I promise. I very rarely watch other people's stories unless they are people that on this team or people that I already know are encouraging and uplifting. The constant barrage of negativity and hatefulness in my life has to stop. And so I get to control that. So I don't sit around and scroll random stories all day long. I am very intentional about the way I use social media. I am doing this not as a connoisseur, but as an adder, as an educator, as a encourager, as an inspirer, not as a connoisseur. So just know that that's where I am. Also, as far as building my business, I am still inviting, I am still connecting, and I am still showing up, because what we do in our communities matters. And if you completely shut that part of your business down and you stop talking to people and you stop having conversations and all you do is post whatever it is on social media and there's no behind the scenes conversation, you're not helping anything. Have a conversation with a person. If you're concerned about that person's safety, if you want to know about that person's perspective, ask them. Don't just hide behind a screen. Go and have a conversation with someone. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Like I said, for the purpose of, as the leader of this team, I feel it's my obligation to share what I'm doing so that if you are unclear or unsure about where you need to go, perhaps my leadership, my position in leadership of this team will help clarify that for you. All right, there we go. We are going to move on to the Enneagram. Does anybody have anything they feel very convicted to say at this point in time before I move into the meat of our call? We'll let you unmute yourself if you need to. Okay.
I was gonna say something. I just think thank you for bringing that up with like the whole sharing about your business and everything, because I feel like there's and just making sure you're only allowing in what you want to allow in, because I think that's huge, especially with everybody's posting everything now, and it can get very distracting. So focusing on what is my goal with being on social media. And is it to, take in all of the stuff that's going on, or is it to add my positive note or whatever it is? Yeah.
Right. Thank you for sharing that, Paige. Yeah. Like I said, and maybe I'm making mistakes. I don't know. I'm sure we're all making mistakes at all point in time, but this is where I feel my heart leading. This is where I feel like the Spirit is leading me. So I want to share that with you guys as well. So thank you. Okay. Let's talk about the Enneagram, you guys. I was so excited to talk about this. I really kind of wanted to do it last week, but last week was the end of the month, and so I felt like that get it done session, which obviously, you guys, our team freaking blew up, so obviously it worked really, really well. Excuse me, but I did want to share this because it's just, like I said, it's something I'm passionately fascinated by. I will preface this entire conversation with saying I'm not an Enneagram expert. I have no Enneagram qualifications or trainings. I am not an Enneagram coach. That is a real thing. People can really take classes and become an Enneagram coach. I am not that. I am being certified in mindset coaching. I am a Beachbody coach. I am a nutrition counselor, and I am an avid connoisseur of all forms of education in personal development. So I feel like, again, it's my job as a leader of this team to pass forward the knowledge that I've gained and the education that I've gained in certain areas to you guys in the hopes that not only will it help your business, but also that it'll help you, because I think that that's, I think that that can get a little furry, or not furry, but like unclear sometimes. It's like, also know that even though I am your leader in this team as a business mentor, I'm also your leader in this team as your growth mentor. Like, if you signed up for this team, it's because you wanted to grow. And so growth isn't just in muscles, like physical muscles. It's also in your mental health, and your well-being as a whole. And so this was something I was introduced to through a friend of mine at MOPS. Amanda Harold would know her. Karen was who introduced this to me. I had no idea what it was. I had kind of vaguely heard some people talk about it and was like, oh, that's interesting, but I never really gave it any credence. And I didn't ever, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I just didn't really think it mattered, kind of thing. But I think that's how I felt about, and once you learn my Enneagram number, you'll know that that makes total sense. I just didn't think it mattered to know about this stuff, because I felt like, well, God made me who I am, and I'm growing and I'm changing, and my personality has shifted. I don't know that many of you guys knew me. Probably only Amanda Collison on this call knew me more than 7 years ago. Carolyn, you knew me like right at the cusp of all of this, but Amanda and I went to college together, so she's known me for a really long time. And I was a very different person back then. So I just didn't think any of this mattered. And I kind of disqualified it a lot because it's a personality test. And you take a lot, I mean, there's all kinds, there's gemstone tests and Enneagram tests and IFNJ tests and all of these things. Like, there's just so many, but none of them really ever spoke to me the way this does. And maybe it's just social trend, I don't know, but I really find it fascinating. And so I wanted to share it with you guys. So hopefully you have already taken the test. If you have not, go to our team page and click on the little, I don't know what the link, I keep going like this, like that's helpful. Click on the link and take the test, because I'm going to talk. And if you haven't taken the test, it's not really applicable to you yet. You're going to, number one, I truly believe you are going to try to type yourself. You're going to try to say, well, oh, I know I'm this. I read the descriptions. I know I'm this. That's again, totally something I would do. I'm a skimmer. I'm the one who reads the cliff notes of the book and acts like I know what the book said, kind of thing. Watch the preview of the movie and think that I've watched the movie. But really getting a clear understanding and unbiased understanding is very, very helpful. So I hope that you all have taken the test. I know a lot of people were posting their results in the thread in there. So go click that. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. There are paid tests. So like if you Google Enneagram tests, there are some paid tests, and they're going to give you like a big, long, exhaustive, this is, who you're compatible with, and this is how you react to this and this and this and this and this. I mean, people write books about this stuff and podcasts and all this other things. So if this interests you, I have a resources page at the end where you can kind of, and I'm going to post the slideshow in our team page after the call as well. So you can like click on the actual things and you don't have to like screenshot and write it down. So, okay, I'm going to re-screen share here. But like I said, I don't want you to, it's kind of funny because I don't want you to read ahead and think, oh, yeah, I know who I am. I know what this is. I feel like I should also say before I really get going that this was very influential in my marriage. Matt and I have never had a bad marriage, but we had a butting heads marriage. We had lots of difficult times in our marriage. And I won't say that, oh my God, the Enneagram solved all of our problems. Sorry, this got a little crazy here. The Enneagram didn't solve all our problems. But when we go through this, I'm going to share with you how this changed the way I view relationships and how I hope that it helps you understand relationships a little better. So very, 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 very brief description of each type. This is not, gosh, I almost didn't want to share this, but I feel like it kind of has to be shared so that you can get an understanding of how to understand this. So there are 9 different types of Enneagrams, and going into this, I feel like there's a couple of things you have to know. Number one, you are most likely not a solid any number. Everybody is typically a mix of some. That's just personality things in general, when you try to put people into little boxes and say, oh, you're a number 1, so you go here, and you're a number 4, and so you go here, that's not really helpful. What it does is bring about, for me anyway, a self-awareness that allowed me to see who I am in my healthiest self and who I am in my most unhealthy self. So it gave me these kind of, again, I guess the best word for it is self-awareness of why I behave sometimes in ways that I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why am I so stubborn all the time? Why do I self-sabotage all the time? Why do I ping pong from thing to thing to thing? When somebody, it's kind of like, I don't know, how do I say this? A very, very dear friend of mine went through the autism process, like getting her child diagnosed with autism. And she was like, I've already known my child has autism. The diagnosis just helps me get tools to move forward. That's kind of how I feel about this. It's not a life sentence. It just helps you kind of identify some patterns that you typically go toward, so that if it needs to be changed, you can change it. If it needs to be amplified, you can amplify it. If it needs to be something that you exploit for the good of humanity, then you exploit it for the good of humanity, kind of thing. But it helps you become a healthier person overall. So with all that said, again, there are lots of, you'll hear things in all of them that you're like, oh yeah, I'm totally rational. That doesn't make you a 1. That's why you have to take the test. Like, don't type yourself based on this. The other thing is, if you get real deep into this, they have something called wings. So you would be like a 3 wing 2 or a 3 wing 4. That means you maybe have a centralized core in one, but you have a lot of propensities to another one. I'm not going to get into wings. Partly because my wings that they say don't resonate with me at all. And I will say, if you take it and you're like, no, that's wrong. Or you read something about it and you're like, that's so far off, take it with a grain of salt, laugh, move along. Like, it doesn't have to be this like, oh my God, I'm a 3, so this will always be every, how do I want to say this? Like, every example of a 3 will always be me. No, it just kind of gives you a good view on things. Okay. So 1 is the reformer, rational, idealistic, principled, purposeful, self-control, and perfectionistic. So as you're reading through these, you might start seeing there's some negative connotations on some of them and some really positive connotations on some of them. Again, picture this as like parameters of your most healthy self. When I am my most healthy self, this is how I'm behaving. This is how I'm reacting. This is how I'm viewing the world. When I am at my most unhealthy, when I am not paying attention to self-care, when I am letting the barrage of negative information flood my soul, I will always default to the negative qualities of my Enneagram, for me anyway, every single time. The helper, number 2, the caring interpersonal type, demonstrative, generous, people-pleasing, and possessive. 3 is the achiever, the success-oriented, pragmatic. They are typically adaptive, excelling, driven, and very image-conscious. The individualist. 4, the sensitive, withdrawn type, expressive, dramatic, self-absorbed, and temperamental. Again, you're going to see these polarizations. You don't live in the polarizations, okay? The investigator, the intense cerebral type, perceptive, innovative, secretive, and isolated. The loyalist is committed, security-oriented type. They're engaging, responsible, anxious, and suspicious. Don't be suspicious. I literally can't say that word without singing the rest of that song anymore. Sorry. That's TikTok's fault. 7 is the enthusiast, busy, fun-loving type, spontaneous, versatile, distractible, and scattered. 8 is the challenger, powerful, dominating type, self-confident, decisive, willful, and confrontational. 8 is the peacemaker, easygoing, self-effacing, receptive, reassuring, agreeable, and complacent. So again, these are kind of the polarizing segments of this. There's lots of other things. Like I said, this is like crazy brief. So I wanted to share those with you guys so that you can kind of see how understanding your Enneagram will help you understand yourself a little better. as far as 6 ways, I came up with 6 ways that I believe this will help you in your business and relationships as a whole. So first off, I've already said it like 4 times, self-awareness. Like that's what personal development is all about. And I think that's why so many people are scared of personal development, because they're scared of self-awareness. They're scared of seeing who they really are and not wanting to take ownership of that. This personal development for me is a journey of extreme ownership, if that makes sense. Taking extreme ownership for my behaviors, for my words, for how I react in a situation, for how I choose choices, for all of the things. And Enneagram really just helped me become more self-aware of who I am. And again, it doesn't mean that I will always react this way, but it means at the core of my being, when I am living in my most fearful state, when I am my most unhealthy mental space, I now know I have I feel like I should just say out loud what I am. So I am a very, very traditional 8. I really don't have much of a wing in this. Like if I did, it would be like way over in 3 land. But as an 8, my most unhealthy propensities is for conflict. I have no issue saying confrontational things, like especially you guys, I feel like you know me now. Like I have no problem having an awkward conversation. I have no problem confronting a situation head on. I don't do well with sidestepping around things. To be very transparent, it aggravates me and makes me, again, in my most unhealthy and judgmental self, makes me judge the other person for not being direct. But we all know that God made us each differently, right? We are all very different, and to expect that everyone behave exactly like this one type of person is irrational. That's not reality. Everybody was created differently. And so once you bring that self-awareness, you're able to show up more authentically, because now you're starting to understand yourself. You're starting to understand why maybe in your most unhealthy state you choose. I'm also going to throw my husband under the bus because he doesn't watch any of the recordings, even though he's a coach. He don't watch any of the recordings of this stuff. He is the most 9est 9 you will ever meet. He is a peacemaker to a fault at all costs. He is a peacemaker. He wants no conflict. If he could live a life completely devoid of conflict, he absolutely would. I mean, he would sign with blood on that dotted line. And so for me to be, what do they call it? The challenger, for me to be the challenger and for him to be the peacemaker. I mean, I feel like you can understand why there was constant headbutting for like the first 8 years of our marriage, because I was trying to change him. And he always saw me as the aggressor. Like, why is she trying to change me? Why can't she just let me be? But in my head, I didn't see how what I was doing was not helpful for him. I just thought, well, I'm trying to make him a better person. Like, because better people look like me, right? Instead of honoring the fact that he's different than me, that he was created at his core differently than me. And so when you start getting to understand each of the types, specifically if you have, a husband or a spouse or whatever, or a boyfriend, you start honoring them for who God created them to be, instead of trying to constantly try to change them because of you being something different. But anyways, your business and Beachbody will always hinge on you. Always. Your personal journey will always, and being connected to your personal journey, it does not, I feel like I always have to clarify that statement with saying it doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It means that you are leaning in, that you are doing the things. You're not doing them perfectly. I'm not doing them perfectly. Shoot, I did half my workout today. Like, okay, great job, Danielle. You're a coach. Like, what are you doing half a workout? Still honest about it, but I did half my workout. So I'm not perfect. And nobody wants that. Nobody feels connected to somebody who doesn't ever have a bad day, who doesn't ever share their struggles. But being in it, and like I said, Moira always talks about being in the middle of the bed. Like, I want to be in the middle of the bed in my journey at all times. And that includes all aspects of it. And self-awareness is part of that. Starting to take a step back from how I'm reactive all the time, instead of listening and getting quiet and hearing what someone else says. I started becoming self-aware of that, and then my business changed. Then my relationship changed. Then I changed as a person. But again, I feel like that really goes back to that extreme ownership of who you are. The second way that I feel like this really helps, understanding the Enneagram really helps your business and relationship, is in communication. I feel like that's the linchpin of all success and failure in relationships and in business, is communication. It all hinges on that. If you cannot come to a good rhythm of communication with other people, you will never succeed or feel successful in a relationship, whether that's for business, for friendship, for spousal relations, whatever, boyfriend relations. But learning how to communicate effectively with people who aren't like you is really, really, really important. And understanding, for me anyway, like I can only speak from my perspective. Like we each have our own perspective and our own worldview. So I can only speak from mine. For me, I had to start realizing that my extreme directness can be offensive to people, specifically people who fall into a category of 9, for my husband's sake. Like my extreme directness was always taken as anger and judgment and all of this other things. When for me, I'm just like, no, I'm just talking. Like, this is just how I talk. And so it's funny, like even when I used to lead MOPS groups and things like that, and when I was, if you're military, you understand my reference of FRG. I've started to incorporate that in when I introduce myself, not like, oh, I'm an Enneagram 8. It's nice to meet you, because people don't understand that. But laying out those expectations of you're always going to get very direct communication from me. I don't do beating around the bush. I don't like it, and I don't do it well. And it always sounds super awkward coming from me. So understanding, especially if you're in a position of leadership, how you communicate with others and how they may be communicating with you as well is really important. Conflict resolution, number 3. Getting unstuck in conflict requires you to know yourself and to understand your role in the conflict. So I feel like this always goes back to self-awareness and communication, because those are kind of the 2 pillars of what all of this hinges on. But if you feel like you are in conflict with someone, getting to know and bringing a self-awareness of what am I doing in this interaction that is contributing to the conflict is very, very important. So I had to take extreme ownership of part of the conflict is stemming from I'm not listening enough. I'm being too direct. This person sees that directness as aggressiveness instead of the directness as efficiency, because I see directness as efficiency. People who aren't like me see directness as conflict sometimes. So helping to move through conflict, because you're going to have conflict in all your life. I mean, if you're a parent, you understand you're going to have conflict with your kids. You're not going to see eye to eye. You're not going to see eye to eye with your significant other. You're not going to see eye to eye with your coworkers, your boss, the women on this team, random people on the internet. But understanding that we can have a conversation, and that's how we move forward, is really, really helpful. 4, self-care. Enneagram for me has been really huge into my self-care. Forgetting to nurture yourself will always result in an imbalance. So if you can get to know and you bring that self-awareness into yourself, if you feel super out of balance, it might be because you aren't tuning into the things that fill your cup. And knowing that shifts over time. What filled my cup as a 21-year-old girl, which was Natty Light, right? Like that's what filled my cup at 21. At 36, different things differently fill my cup. So knowing that those things are going to shift and change, but because of who I am at my core, I also know that social interaction is really, really big for me. Like this goes beyond introvert and extrovert. This goes to human connection. That's really, really big for me. Looking someone directly in the eye is incredibly filling for me. I love to have a conversation where I can sit down. That's why I use Zoom so much, where I can sit down and see people and feel their energy and their reaction. And I feel like I've had a connection with them. That's all part of self-care. Okay. And then the other 2 are kind of more specifically business related, but especially if you are a leader and you have people that you've enrolled and you're building a team or you want to build a team. And again, I feel like this goes back to the slow growth of this team until I started becoming self-aware about this kind of things. What I found was, just like in my relationship with my husband, where I was pushing and pushing and pushing against him and wanting him to conform to my way of leading, or I guess of leading is the right way. I felt the same in my business. I kept wondering, why doesn't Carrie do this? Why doesn't Amanda do this? Why doesn't Renee do this? Like, this is kind of prior, the majority of you guys. But what I found was, it was because I was forcing my worldview and the way I viewed leadership and the way I viewed strengths on everyone else. So I would not honor the fact that my husband's peaceful nature is an incredible strength of his. And if I can use that to our advantage of a couple and stop trying to beat it out of them, for lack of better words, our relationship and our marriage flourished, and those around us started noticing that we were changing as a couple, and we were better able to, for lack of a better word, influence those around us in a positive direction. So helping the women on your team, or the men, or whoever on your team, use their gifts is really, really important. That's why I'm really glad so many of you guys took this test, because now, a very good example, I'm going to throw Paige into the bus since she lives here, right? Paige's number is number 7. So she is, like creative and scattered and like just ping-pongy and fun-centered, very fun-centered. So if I know that, what do I know about Paige? I know Paige likes trips. I know Paige likes gifts. And so as her leader, I can now use this, and I can use her creativity in our team structure to help her feel really fulfilled on this team, instead of feeling like she doesn't matter. And so getting to know your strengths and the strengths of those on your team so that you can use them for the greater good is really, really important. Okay. And lastly, in management style, and I feel like that kind of goes with what I was saying with organizational structure as well, helping your team as a whole work together to accomplish goals. So, y'all know me, so you know it's going to go back to the Bible, but one of my favorite passages in the Bible is about the different parts of your body in the body of Christ. Like, not everyone is an ear, not everyone is a nose, not everyone is an arm, but lacking those components doesn't make up a whole body. And so if we can work together as a team and all of us use our strengths, we can accomplish these incredible things, instead of us all feeling like we have to be an ear, or we all have to be an arm, or we all have to be an eye, or even worse, me as the leader of this team feeling like I have to create a bunch of eyes, or I have to create a bunch of arms, instead of realizing like you were gifted initially at creation in a beautiful way that serves humanity as a whole. So I think that is a really, really helpful way of viewing all of this. And then let me screen share it one more time. Wanted to share some of the resources that I have always used with Enneagram stuff. And again, I'll post these in the team page. But some of the podcasts, if you're a podcast kind of girl, Typology or Enneagram and Coffee is excellent. And then yourenneagramcoach.com and enneagraminstitute.com is really helpful as well. And then Instagram accounts, Enneagram and Coffee, Enneagram and Means, Enneagram and Grace, that Enneagram Life with a Y is really, really helpful as well. And like I said, I promise I'll post those so you didn't have to like screenshot them or anything. But just know that when you're diving into this, if this is something that interests you and you want to learn more about, take a lot of it with a grain of salt. Remember that humans created this system, and so it's inherently going to be flawed. It's not going to be true for every situation in all of life, but it does kind of help you get a better self-awareness about who you are, who you were created to be, and how you can use your strengths to better serve our team, better serve humanity, better serve your family, better serve everyone around you. And how to address, I always hate using the word weakness. Like, I don't see any of it as a weakness. I see it as more of like an area of growth. So how to use your areas of growth and pour into personal development that helps you grow those areas. For me, compassion is very difficult. really lack compassion innately. And I've really worked very hard on that because I do want to be a compassionate person. I feel like that's really important in life, is to be a compassionate person. And so I have poured into personal development to help grow my compassion, because it's not something that's natural to me. And I think that that's where people get tripped up in this, and they start using it as an excuse. Like, oh, well, I'm an 8. I'm always aggressive. I'm always demonstrative and feel like I should be opinionated and whatever. So that's just the way I am. My Enneagram said so. So now I don't have to change anything about it. Like, no, that's not how this works. All it's doing is shining a spotlight on some areas that maybe you need to work on, and some areas that maybe you're not seeing as a strength. Like I said, for me, my husband's propensity toward peace and whatever, I always saw that as complacency. And so instead, seeing him as observant, as someone who takes in all the things and internalize it, I'm now better able to see how we work best as a team, and how the things that he's very strong at and I'm not very strong at, we can kind of flow back and forth instead of always push up against each other. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope that you got something out of it. I don't know if I was a little worried to present this, because I think most people want to come into this with like, okay, when I leave this call, I'm going to understand my Enneagram type. And that's not my job. Like, my job isn't to help you understand your Enneagram type or who you are. That's your job. Again, we're taking extreme ownership for our own growth and our own personal wellness journeys, and that includes mental health. That includes personal growth. If you are the same person today, like if I was the same Danielle today that I was almost 6 years ago when I enrolled, all of this would have been for nothing. Like, I don't want to focus on who I was. I want to focus on who I'm becoming. And so leaning into personal development and personal growth is going to help really everyone. Help not just me, help humanity as a whole. So all right, that is pretty much it. I will open it up for questions. This can be the question segment. We have about 5 minutes for questions, and then I'll stop the recording at 5 minutes. So if you have to hop off, I totally understand. But if you want to stay on and ask questions, or whether that's business or Enneagram, doesn't really matter. So just take yourself off of mute. Don't be shy. If you don't have questions, we can end the call. Nobody has questions. Any takeaways? What did you learn? Did you learn anything? Did you take your Enneagram? What?
I did take it. I'm going to have to go back and find my old results, because I've taken it before, and for some reason I thought it was different. Number-wise, quality-wise, it was probably the same. But I felt like I was a 7, which I know I'm not a 7. Right? That's what you were, Paige?
Yeah, I'm a 7. Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with 7. I hope I didn't.
But I'm not a 7.
You're wonderful. But I know that I don't have all those qualities. I was a 2, which makes more sense. But for some reason, I guess I thought I was a different number. Quality-wise, still the same. But.
Well, and I think it's always funny, because once you get to know them, inadvertently, and I try really hard not to do this, like once you study it and learn more about it, you start typing other people really badly, and that's not helpful. Really not helpful. So let somebody else type themselves. Like, you don't need to sit around and analyze other people. But I'm like, no, you are not a 7.
Going through my mind, I'm like, oh, what is she? Yeah, like on my team, and then like my sisters, I'm like, what are they? I'm gonna have them all take the test. See if I'm right.
It's fun. And I did have Matt take it. And I say I had Matt take it. Let's be real transparent here. We were driving in the car, and I asked him the questions and plugged his answers in. He did not, like, I did not send it to him. And he was like, oh, thanks, babe. Let me take this test. Like, he would never do that. And he was like, why are you asking me these questions? I was like, you're just taking an online quiz. Don't worry. Just analyzing your every decision that you've ever made in your whole life. It's no big deal.
I do have another question too.
Yeah.
So they sent me the email after I took it, and they kind of like describe like who would be your ideal match partner wise, not like spouse wise, but like if you had a success partner and stuff like that. So have you used that? Like, is Jen your ideal?
Ooh, I don't know. She's a 2 as well. Yeah, hardcore 2. Really hardcore 2. So I don't know. I don't know if a 2 and an 8. What I do know is that 2 or 8s and 9s are really not compatible. And I mean, I feel like Matt and I have a great marriage.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how much credence I put into who's compatible and what. I will say I find the most conflict for me with people who are the same number as me, and people who are the extreme opposite, which would be Matt. Like that's where I find that my interactions with everybody who's like a 1 through 6 or a 1 through 7,
right,
very easy. But man, once you get into the same kind of person, it's kind of like when you have kids, right? Like I think everyone but Paige has kids, but she has kids because we have kids here at the house. So she gets it. When you have a kid and that kid shows up just like you in a situation, you're like, oh God, I don't like that. Like, ew. And then you're like, I do the same things. That's kind of how it feels when you meet somebody who's a very similar to you. They shed a light sometimes on your ugliness. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be around that. Instead of realizing like, oh, I realize now why I don't want to hang out with them. They're just like me. So, because you're kind of confronted with things about yourself that aren't that great. Because we all have those. But, yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought about it in like a success partner-y kind of way.
No, I think that's interesting though, Amanda, about looking to see, who's like compatible. I didn't go through the email, but I find that really interesting. But so I'm a 9, and when I read that, I knew I was a peacemaker just because of my natural like personality and stuff. But the complacent, I was like, I am not complacent. And then as I kept thinking about it, I was like, I am complacent.
Well, mine was like possessive, and I'm